Wanted to record an episode before the draft so that I could comment on these Boston Celtics trades and all of the talk surrounding them right now, and then dedicate next episode to just the draft. These Boston trades were incredible. I was so impressed. I couldn't believe they were able to pull off the deals that they did. They gave up no draft compensation. Everybody is saying, oh, they're blowing it up. This is the start of a rebuild. Because you trade two assets that, I'm telling you, even if Tatum wasn't hurt, I think Boston would have been sniffing around Holiday and Porzingis trades anyway, because these are depreciated assets. Holiday's 35 on a bad contract. That three more years at over $30 million, that's a bad contract with some injury history there. Porzingis, talk about injury history. He was an asterisk on the Celtics. Every year it was, well, we'll see what this team's ceiling is as long as Porzingis is healthy. That's no way to build a team. You can't have somebody who's that big of a gray area be someone you rely on. And if Porzingis happens to be out, well, now you're not going to win a title. You need to figure out a different way to build the team. And so I think that they were done holding their breath when it comes to Porzingis. They're going to end up suffocating if they kept him on the team any longer. I think you had to move him. And those were the two guys that were the most overpaid. They were clearly overpaid. I don't know if Porzingis' next contract is going to be worth $30 million. He's a unique player. He's a ceiling raiser. I think Atlanta picking him up is an excellent move, although I wonder how Okongwu feels about it. He just got the starting spot from Capella, and now he's back to not starting again. But don't worry, Okongwu. Porzingis is going to miss so many games. You'll keep starting plenty of games. But back to Boston, just wonderful trades. They collected assets that are actually useful. Anthony Simons is a good player. He's expiring. He's only 26 or 27. I forgot which one. Good offensive player. He's going to help them this year. But I think they're going to showcase him and they're going to move him at the deadline. They'll pick up another expiring contract or two, just contracts on some sort of contenders books that they feel like they can move off of, and maybe some draft compensation and collect that money there. I don't think they intend to extend him, but I could also see them making him a sixth man if Peyton Pritchard's now a starter. I could see them doing Pritchard, Derek White, Jaylen Brown. Niang will start this season, but that'll be Tatum, obviously. And then they just need to find a new center. I think Horford's going to move on as well. But they'll be able to do that. I'm confident they'll be able to do that. They can find a stretch five, maybe not one as good as Porzingis, but as long as they're reliable, this team will still have a ceiling of making a deep playoff run in the East. And I think Boston knows that. They're not freaking out and looking to rebuild and tank for next season. All that talk about they should plan on not making the playoffs, and they should look to flip Jaylen Brown. They should trade Derek White, just empty out everything and be awful while Tatum isn't playing because you don't have a chance of winning a title. To me, what kind of attitude is that? And look at their coach, how crazy competitive he is. Let this team be competitive and try to win as many games as they can. You're going to be a 6, 7, 8 seed. Just let that happen. Get a first-round playoff matchup. Be a scrappy, feisty team. Be a fun team. Keep that competitiveness high so that Tatum can step right into it. Nobody likes a down year where you basically are planning on losing. I think that's awful for culture, and I don't think the Celtics are going to do that. I think that they have a high self-esteem and they have pride, and I think they're going to try to be as good as they can. But they were effective in shedding the money that they needed to shed. They got out of the second apron. I think they're going to move Sam Hauser in a similar deal that they made for Porzingis, where they're going to take back very little. They're going to get even more savings, and they'll get that flexibility in their roster back that they would have lost had they stayed in the second apron. There's this sentiment among NBA fans and media that any step back talent-wise means you have to basically go back to the back of the line. Taking a step back in a gap year, there's nothing wrong with that. They've given themselves space to retool, and as long as they keep that top three that this team is built around, that's what it's all about. They can continue to compete as long as they have those three and they have enough flexibility to build around them. And the Celtics have proven that they've been able to do that. They didn't make any trades leveraging multiple first-round picks. There's this sentiment out there that if you have picks to trade and you haven't traded them, then you're not going for it enough. The Celtics are too smart to make deals like Orlando made for Desmond Bane. They're not going to do that. They're going to keep their big three intact. Derek White's not getting traded. Jaylen Brown's not getting traded. Unless they get offered something truly obscene, those guys aren't getting moved. And if I was going to move someone, it'd be Jaylen Brown because of the contract. But there's no way that that's part of their plan. They're going to have to really be blown away to consider moving off of their top three that have been proven to be winners. That's very hard to find as a top three led by a top 10 player in the NBA that aren't even 30 yet and they're all on the same timeline. Why would you move off of that? That doesn't make any sense at all. And why would you look to tank during one gap year? It's important to you to get the 5th pick rather than to have the 14th pick. I don't think that that's worthwhile to do. Let Jaylen Brown and this team be as competitive as they possibly can be. All experience is good. Just because you don't have a chance of winning a title doesn't mean that the year is shot and worthless. I think just to get a pick that's that little bit much better, I don't think that's worth it personally. And the 10 Commandments of team building don't support that. You may think that the 10 Commandments of team building discourage what the Celtics have done, but it's okay to go into the second apron, especially if you're keeping a championship team together. You just need to maintain the flexibility to be able to get out of it. And this looks like a big step back talent-wise, but Drew Holiday and Porzingis should not have been this easy to move. I couldn't believe they found these trade partners that easily to take what I think are distressed assets. They're overpaid assets. You should not have 5 starters making $30 million or more. That was just not a sustainable situation. They're going to fill in these last couple roles. I think Pritchard has earned the starting point guard spot. You move Derek White to the 2. They're going to find another center either in the draft or they'll find one with an Anthony Simons move, I think, at the deadline. I kind of like the idea of a package to Orlando for somebody like Jonathan Isaac. I think that makes a lot of sense. We'll see what happens, but just wanted to jump on and congratulate Boston and also to make it clear that any of this talk that they're doing about the Celtics blowing it up, just because you're not going to win a title doesn't mean you blow it up. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Don't expect to see White or Brown traded. Boston's not doing that.